Hi everyone, today we are doing a pick a card reading on how Pluto in Aquarius will affect you over the next 15 to 20 years. Now, Pluto in Aquarius is a transit that happens every 248, 250 years. It's currently happening at the moment. Pluto was in Aquarius, I think, a little bit for a couple of months back at the start of 2023. It went into Capricorn and now it's back into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So I've been watching a lot of videos, getting a lot of information in regards to the things that actually occur on the planet when Pluto is in Aquarius. Now, if we go back to the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we can look at things like the French Revolution, we can look at the American Revolution, and then obviously then into the Industrial Revolution. Now, this happened between, the transit was between 1777 and 1798. The other thing that happened, so as America was gaining independence in the American Revolution, for example, in Australia, in 1788, Captain James Cook arrived in Australia, and for the English, they had this wonderful place to send all of their convicts, but for the Aboriginal people, that revolution that happened at that time was disastrous, given that, you know, they had lived here for 60,000 years. So lots and lots of things happening. The prior 248 years prior, which was at the time of Henry VIII, if you know, obviously know the story, Henry VIII divorced his wife and remarried, which completely changed the structure of the British monarchy in terms of their faith. So that's when the Church of England was born. So big things, if we go back even further, we look at things like Emperor Constantine created Constantinople, which was essentially what we now know as Istanbul, and it then became the link between side, which is Europe. And I mean, if you stand on the bridge, as I did in Istanbul, you literally, it's Europe on one side and Asia on the other, which heralded things like Marco Polo, lots of new revolutionary things, which is very, very Aquarius. If we go back even further, I think maybe 2 or 3 transits of Pluto. Prior to that, we had the invention of paper, which was then flooded through all of the Islamic countries. And so the first libraries, the first books were created, the first libraries were created. Huge revolutionary times, you know, once people could actually, you know, physically write things on paper and go to a library. So therefore, you know, universities, that sort of thing, huge revolutionary times. So the fact that we are currently in the transit of Pluto in Aquarius, and again, a lot of the readings that I've been watching in regards to what it actually means for us at this particular time, lots of conversations about, you know, the move to AI, which obviously we're already seeing. But I've been picking up on an underlying current of, obviously, one of those things is what's happening in the Middle East at the moment. You've got very similar to what happened in Australia, you know, when James Cook arrived. You've got, you know, one party coming in and the other party, you know, opposing. So, you know, we've currently got that in Israel and Palestine at the moment. We've got the farmers in Europe all pushing back on the government. Lots and lots of things. But one specific thing that was popping up in a lot of the research that I was doing and a lot of the predictive videos that I was watching in regards to what is to come in the next 20 years is the revolution of the amount of people following, for example, social influences. That will actually decline. The rise of social influences, obviously in the last, you know, 5-10 years has been extreme, but it's actually going to flip now, and we are going to see people with substance actually being, because Aquarius is the rebel, the humanitarian, you know, that type of personality will actually begin to rise to the surface and attract the audience that maybe previously were watching the social influences. And you can take that now, you know, I've been watching a lot on, you know, what's happening in Palestine at the moment, and as an empathetic person, you know, it's horrific. But I'm watching one particular guy, and this is a prime example. So, for example, the President of the United States, okay, he's, you know, past 80 years old, has got 18 million followers on Instagram. Now, I know that he doesn't specifically write those posts. There's somebody, you know, doing that for him. But there is a photographer called Motaz who is Palestinian and who has been journaling via his Instagram page. He was just a general, just normal guy, but he has been with a very, very small following on Instagram. But he has been documenting what's been happening in Palestine via, you know, his phone, his camera, and loading those images up to Instagram. Now, in 4 weeks, he accrued more followers than the President of the United States, which is a direct correlation with what I was saying before. We are going to see a rise in people with humanitarian substance and motivation coming to the forefront, and all of the things in our life that, I mean, Pluto is a sign of death, rebirth, transformation. All of the things, all of the things that aren't aligning with us anymore are going to be removed. I mean, look at, you know, the French Revolution. That whole era was the people removing the queen, you know, the kings, the queens, from power. It was literally a revolution. So today what we are asking is, what does your next 20 years look like? What, and I know that's a very, very broad question, but more about what things in your life are going to have radical change. And it may be things that you are already picking up on. I know, you know, my daughter and I talk all the time about there's a change coming, there's a change coming. It's almost like you can feel it. So we're just looking at themes, just general themes. I am interested to see what comes out in the cards. Obviously, again, I'm using all of my decks. So we've got 3 piles to choose from. You are most welcome to watch all 3. So the first pile is a pine cone, which, yeah, the pineal gland is actually connected to the pine cone. So the pineal gland sits in behind your third eye. So that for me is intuition. Maybe things that you are picking up on already, themes that you are picking up on already. The second pile is this beautiful stone, and it's got the word happiness on it. So perhaps the change that's coming, you know, I think sometimes when change comes, it doesn't feel great at the time, but it eventually leads to happiness. And then this third one is a beautiful wooden cross that I got, oh goodness, I'm almost 50 now. So I got this when I was 17. It's very, very old, but it's very, very special. So that's the cross. So if you would like to choose your pile, and once you've done so, you can make your way over there and I will see you there. Okay, pile 1, you chose this beautiful pine cone. So I'm just going to pop him up there. Now today, as I said before, we are looking at what are the major themes that are going to be within your life over the the next 20 years? What things are going to have the greatest impact over the next 20 years during this Pluto in Aquarius transit? So I'm going to be using 3 tarot decks today and 3 oracle decks today. All of these are my own. If you are interested in them, the links to them are in the description box. So we're just going to go with the flow, I guess, and look at what themes that you will be dealing with. Now, I'm just going to do 4 cards across the top. All these cards have been pre-shuffled just to save a bit of time. Moon. Okay, so we have the moon, the Page of Swords, the 3 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, pile 1. So the fact that we've got the moon here is one of 2 things. Either this big revolution, this big change, this big Pluto and Aquarius transit for you, what's going to happen is hidden from you for the time being. But the moon is a card of intuition. So, you know, we've got the pine cone, which is the pineal gland, which is intuition. So potentially you've been picking up on it. Now, Page of Swords, which is a mind card. Yeah, maybe you've been taking note of it. Okay, so pile 1, when I drew this card, this Knight of Cups card, this little bird is sat on the edge of a teacup and his wings are kind of flapped up. Now, the Page of Cups in this deck was drawn and the little bird is almost looking at his reflection in the teacup, what's actually coming up to him. He's a little more timid, he's a little more shy. Whereas this Knight of Cups, when I was drawing it, I was thinking about, you know, if you have a big area where there's, you know, a square, say, you know, and I was thinking of like a square piazza in, say, Italy, and you've got all these pigeons, and then one flies in and literally disrupts everyone, kind of flies in, hey, what's going on, you know, I'm king here. And so anybody that doesn't have kind of the self-assuredness to hang around, they almost get scared and frightened and fly away. The fact that this guy's not the Page of Cups, the fact that this guy has actually, I mean, the Page, as I said, the Page of Cups is somebody who's done self-reflection. I think this next 20 years is actually going to be a period for you of quiet self-reflection, a change. Page of Swords, the beginning of a change. That's my little puppy walking on the floorboards. The beginning of a change. Lie down, lie down. Quick. Lie down, lie down. the beginning of a change in your thought process. There's maybe things that, Three of Cups, maybe the people, now I've popped them the wrong way around. Why did I do that? The people that you're hanging around, maybe you're hanging around with people that are out drinking all the time. Maybe, you know, every function that you go to with your current group of friends is revolving around alcohol of some sort. Yeah. Lots of people in the piazza drinking. And, you know, when I said before about the Page of Cups, looking into that cup, looking in at your own reflection and actually recognizing that, yes, these are your group of friends. And yes, you love them as individuals, but their actions and the things that are important to them are not important to you anymore. And that's a tough thing to have happen, because when you actually make that realization that the people that you are surrounding yourself with no longer align with the things that are important to you, you know, and you have to make that change to remove yourself from that situation, or, you know, continue going to the barbecue. I mean, it could be simple as you know, going out every weekend and drinking. It could be, you know, at the nightclub. It could be meeting people every Sunday afternoon for a barbecue at somebody's house, a group of families or a group of friends meeting. But you know that every Monday morning you literally start your work week off behind the 8 ball. You know that it's not the right thing for you to be doing because it's affecting other areas of your life. But how do you make that change? How do you literally, you know, Pluto and Aquarius, the revolution, how do you make that change from, do I stay within this friendship group for everybody else's sake, or do I do something for myself? Yeah. And look, on the bottom of the deck here, well, underneath it, we've got the High Priestess. So I think it's something that you will pick up on, or you have been picking up on, this trend in realigning yourself with what's actually more towards your soul's true calling. And once you do, the Wheel of Fortune, there'll be big change in your life once you actually do. It's that old, you know, when one door opens, when one door closes, one door opens. Yeah. Because it's all fun and games to be, you know, that person, and maybe you're the life of the party. Possibly, who are you without alcohol or some sort of substance? Yeah, who are you without alcohol or some sort of substance in your system? You know, if you're this character that flies in and kind of clears the room, or, you know, draws the crowd, or, you know, the life of the party, then who are you once that's actually gone? And that's your revolutionary moment. And, you know, as I said, on the bottom of the deck, you actually don't find out. The Moon, it's hidden. It's hidden. Who you actually are is hidden until you make that change. But it's recognizing it and having the strength to do it. Okay, so we're going to get some clarification on this Moon card. They're wanting to jump out. High Priestess. Yeah, it's following your intuition. If you know that there are things within your life, and you know, it can, I mean, I know for myself, I really probably stopped, well, I stopped drinking and I smoked cigarettes. I stopped drinking and smoking cigarettes when my husband and I decided that, you know, we were going to start a family. And that was huge. And now, I mean, I can't remember the last time that I've had a drink. I maybe might have half a glass of champagne, you know, on Christmas Day. But in general, I don't drink. And I have gone through these phases where, you know, I've been within friendship groups that have been really focused on alcohol, and it's great fun. But in the long term, if it starts affecting, you know, who you are and you know, then it's something that intuitively you know you need to remove yourself from. And I can happily say now, even if you told me that, you know, a cocktail was the most amazing in the whole wide world, there'd be no real interest for me to take a sip. In fact, you know, when we go out, we actually order mocktails that are alcohol free, because I like, and this is the High Priestess and the pine cone, the pineal gland, I like a clean mind. I don't want anything interrupting what's happening in my head. And that may be where you are at, or where you will, something that will happen, a big thing that will happen, you know, during this transit of Pluto in Aquarius, is this change in mindset, the clearing, Page of Swords, getting a clearer mindset of what is toxic and what is not in your life, but of keeping your mind clear. Okay, one more on this High Priestess. Oh my goodness. Take those. I'm only going to take the Hermit. Actually, I'm going to take the one that's underneath as well, because it just aligns with what I was just saying. Getting the strength, going within, getting the strength to realize that this, I mean, and I'm really seeing this as you know, a change in your drinking patterns, or you know, substance patterns, whatever you use. I mean, it could be, it's an addiction. This is a change in an addiction. Actually, it's not necessarily addiction. You may not be that far, but a change. It's a change. It's going in and realizing that Four of Cups, you no longer want to take that cup. Now, I knew that came out for a reason. Spirit is funny, but yeah, no thanks. Would you like a drink? No thanks. I'm good, thanks. And it is actually interesting, you know, for me, when I used to drink, you know, yeah, like, you know, I wasn't the life of the party, but, you know, I actually enjoy myself more now sitting around and watching everybody else make fools of themselves, to be honest. It's very insightful, and it's that High Priestess, clear mind, but you've got to get to that point. But, you know, this is something that is a big part, for it to come up in a Pluto and Aquarius reading, this is something that's big in your life. This pattern of behavior is big. It is something that you are doing or have done for a long time. And I think when you make the change, you are going to shock, because, you know, Pluto is shocking. It's death and rebirth. You literally are no longer going to look like the person that you were before. Okay, Page of Swords. One just fell on the ground. Okay, so it fell on the ground upside down. It is the Nine of Swords. sleepless nights, anxiety up in your head, maybe anxiety about making this decision to literally, maybe you're going cold turkey. Which would, you know, I said before about addictions, but, you know, maybe you're going cold turkey. But in doing that, there is no longer sleepless nights. You know, that could be out all weekend. You know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, rocking up to work on a Monday morning, feeling like absolute death, and then knowing that you've got the rest of the week ahead of you. But once you get that clarity with the Page of Swords, you don't have that anymore. Because, you know, you have a cup of tea on a Sunday night, nice chamomile tea, peppermint tea, and then you go to bed and you're refreshed for the week. But maybe it's that anxiety, fear of making that change. 8 of Wands. Once you make it though, things turn around pretty fast. And in this whole reading, my little puppy has been, he wants to sleep, but he's moved from one side of the kitchen, he's moved to the dining room, he's gone and hopped up on the couch, he's come back again, you've just heard him, you know, run across, and now he's back in the kitchen. It's that feeling of he can't settle himself, he's trying to find the perfect place to stop, and it's that, right, I'm gonna make this change. How do I do it? Do I do it here? Do I go here? Do I do that? Do I just cut these people off? Do I, you know, not quite knowing, but now he's over there and he's comfortable. He's finally made a decision. He's comfortable, and you know, his eyes are starting to close now. So this anxiety, I mean, it doesn't matter where he goes to sleep, he's going to sleep, you know. You've just got to make that decision that that's what you're going to do, and then move forward with it, irrespective of what anybody else says. And it could be something like, you know, maybe you have a partner that is a heavy drinker or a heavy smoker or, you know, heavy whatever. And so that then makes that decision even more difficult. But oftentimes, you know, in that situation, you are then, by making that decision, you are then the catalyst, the revolution for the next person. So your partner, your friendship group, you're the catalyst. Oh, well, such and such is not drinking anymore. Yeah, they're looking really great. Wow, they're doing really well in their job. Wonder why that is. Not knowing that maybe it's because, you know, you were turning up hungover on a Monday morning. Yeah, actually, you know what? I might cut back on the alcohol as well. So don't be worried if there's people around you, because maybe you are the leader in this particular revolution within your friendship group or within your marriage or within, you know, whatever is happening. So the 3 of Cups, and that in itself is celebration, which is the 3 of Cups. The Queen of Wands. And she's strong and independent. And I was just talking about, you know, you are the leader, you are the revolution. She doesn't need anybody to make decisions for her. She goes for it. Yeah, moving on to calmer waters. So moving yourself out of situations that are toxic for you and moving on. He's just moved again. Was that not comfortable where you were? He's moved to where he can see me, so he's literally eyeballing me. Yeah, moving on to calmer waters, moving yourself with the 8 of Wands out of this situation where, you know, there's toxicity. And Queen of Wands, doing it with confidence. even though you may not look, I mean, it may look confident on the outside, but you may be like, oh my God, I just want to go, you know, to the pub and have a drink, or I would just like a glass of wine at the end of the day. But the reality is, it's actually not. It's keeping you in this Nine of Swords. And what you're actually looking for, where did we have it before? What you're actually looking for, what's hidden from you, is you need this clarity. You need clarity. You need a clear mind, and you're not going to get that if you are constantly putting things in it that alter your state. Okay, Knight of Cups. Again, this is double Wheel of Fortune. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here and the Wheel of Fortune here. It's the end of this cycle. And the wheel spins both ways. So if you choose to stay in this cycle, then you are choosing to stay in this Nine of Swords, unenlightened state of mind. But if you choose to make the change to remove this from your life, you're actually given great blessings. You know, we got two Wheel of Fortunes there. I'm just seeing on the bottom is the Empress, which is nurturing yourself, feeding your body, removing that those toxic patterns, that toxic cycle out. You know, and as I said before, you know, for me it was stopping drinking, stopping smoking, well, most definitely stopping smoking, because I still did have a couple of drinks after, you know, yeah, not while I was pregnant, but you know, the Empress is a card of pregnancy. Maybe for you, this pattern ends when you or your partner chooses to start a family. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. Plant seeds, start a family. And maybe that's hidden from you. Maybe you're not in a relationship at the moment. Yeah. Nice. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. I'm thinking for justice. You know, for somebody, maybe you find out you're pregnant and that's when you stop. Justice. Yeah. The big change in your life is coming when this is removed and you actually are giving to yourself, cutting justice with the sword, you know, the eye in the middle, looking within the pine cone, the pineal gland, looking within, cutting all the crap out that's toxic and giving to yourself, and you get the Wheel of Fortune and Justice. That's really lovely. And on the bottom, Seven of Pentacles, planting new seeds. What aligns with me now? You know, what is better for my soul's growth? Is it going out every weekend and doing drugs or drinking alcohol, spending time with people whose sole focus is on that? You know, let's go out and hook up and you know, if you're young, or if you're old, you know, let's go out and hook up and see how many you know, one-night stands we can have. It's toxic for your soul. It's toxic. Okay, we're going to look at the Tiny Tarot and see if we can get anything else on this moon. Oh, the World. What currently is your world? Everything that you are about at the moment is going to change. There's hidden changes coming. Page of Swords. Page of Swords clarified by the Three of Swords. Yeah, it's not serving you, or you realize that it's not serving you, and then the tricky bit will be, how do I cut it out? How do I get rid of it? And it's, you know, as I said before, it's going cold turkey. It's removing yourself from a group of friends. It's removing yourself from patterns which you know are stopping you from moving forward. Yeah, Three of Cups. All right. The Emperor. And the Emperor came out, and he spun. I don't know if you saw him spin. He came out upside down. So this is the current energy that you are in, or that you will stay in unless you make this change. And that reminds me of the Emperor's New Clothes, you know, that fable, you know, where everybody around him was saying, oh, yeah, you know, it's great, this is the life, this is amazing. And they spun him this outfit out of invisible yarn and made him think that he had everything because of the practices that he was doing, because of the way he was holding himself, you know. And it all ended up being a big farce. You know, a lifestyle filled with toxic patterns and toxic behavior. I mean, for him, the toxic behavior was, you know, the desire to be adored by everybody. You know, for you, the toxic behavior, as much as, say, the alcohol or whatever, toxic behavior is remaining in a friendship group because maybe you're the life of the party, or because, you know, it's fun. You know, what else are you going to do? Well, if I get rid of this friendship group, you know, who are my other friends? You know, there's that saying, your life is a bus, and when the bus stops and people hop on and off at the bus stop, you know, whoever is in that bus at the end of your life will dictate the journey, you know, or dictate the journey that you have been on. Well, if your whole life is a pub crawl, is filled with people on a booze bus, you know, where do you think that bus is going to end up at the end? It goes back to that, you know, where it's going to end up at the end is this bird flying down in the piazza in the middle of Italy, and every other bird flies away. Because, you know, at 70, they're not going out anymore, drinking every weekend or drinking every night. Yeah, interesting. Knight of Cups. I think you're probably going to be defensive about it in the interim. Defensive about the intuitive hits that you're getting that are telling you to stop this pattern of behavior. But I think the other thing is, on the flip side, once you actually make the move, and if you choose to make the move and change your lifestyle, you're either worried that you're going to have to defend it, which you don't. You don't have to defend yourself to anybody, especially if you're doing something that aligns with your better, you know, your betterment. But you are going to get those people, well, how come you don't come out anymore? How come you don't do that? And it doesn't matter. You know, they're only saying that because they haven't had the strength to make the decision. And as I said before, in many situations like this, you know, you end up being the catalyst for somebody else's revolution. Yeah, and on the bottom of the deck, King of Pentacles. That's strong. You know, Pentacle cards take a long time. Strong solid change. This is somebody who's measured, who's actually gone, okay, I'm taking the time, I'm working out what's working for me and what's not. I'm not going to go out every weekend and drink. I'm not going to, include alcohol in every celebration, every family celebration that I have. I'm making a stand. This is the King of Pentacles. Planting his own seeds. And underneath we've got the Ace of Swords, the truth. And then underneath that, the devil. Cutting out the toxicity and planting new seeds. Yeah, interesting. Okay, we might look at, actually we'll go here. Now this is a love messages deck, but what I find is when we are doing readings that specifically relate to individual, what you are thinking and feeling for yourself, I take these messages as the messages your higher self wants to give you. Yeah. I am scared I will lose our friendship if I tell you how I feel. This fear of who am I without this group of people? Who am I? I've never forgotten you. Will these people remain in my life if I make this choice? How can I have a friendship with these people or with this family? How can I attend a celebration if I choose to remove the thing that connects us? What will things look like after that? Any more? I would love to see you and talk to you. How can I connect with you if I've removed the thing that connects us? I'm going to do one more. One more, Spirit. Oh, no, we're doing three more. Self-love. Self-love. You make me feel alive. Upside down. You make me feel alive. Upside down is what I'm currently doing in my life. This, out every weekend, drinking or smoking or whatever you're doing is no longer making you feel alive. And then harmony, upside down, which means what's happening here is not, you're not in balance. You're completely out of balance. And, six of swords, you need to move yourself along from it, because otherwise you're not going to get justice, and you're going to be stuck in this cycle with these people. Now on the bottom of the deck, this is tearing me apart. Pluto and Aquarius, it is death and rebirth. It is a huge decision. I mean, these are potentially people that you've been friends with for years, or family, which is even worse. If you've got a family that, revolves around, every celebration is, birthdays, Christmas, Easter, everything revolves around getting together and having a couple of drinks, and you decide you're not going to do that, They're like, what are you doing that for? This is not you, You then go into that defensive, who am I once I've cut all this out? Which is why we have, the Hermit card is down here. The Hermit card, it's a 20-year transit. So this is not an overnight thing. Yes, if you go cold turkey, it's overnight, but it's lots and lots and lots of self-reflection. Going within to work out what you want to say no to with the Four of Cups. Okay, let's get a message for you from Spirit. What advice does Spirit have for you during this transit? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. What side of this revolution are you going to be on? Are you going to be stuck in past patterns, or are you going to be, you know, moved along this wheel of fortune? Maybe. So maybe according to how you're currently living your life, Spirit's not, I mean, everybody's got free will. Maybe according to how you're currently, living your life, Spirit is not sure which direction you're going to choose, which way you're going to go, where you are going to plant your seeds. Perfect match. What you are going to align with is what you think currently your perfect match is going out and drinking and you know, doing all that stuff. Is that your everything? Yeah, what is interesting? So Spirit's saying it doesn't know. That at the moment you are the driver of your car. Well, you're always the driver of your car, but hopefully not when you're drinking. But yeah, trapped. Maybe at the moment you're trapped in a fear mindset of what are people going to say? What, you know, what if I make this big change? And so currently you can't make a decision because you're still in that phase, that hermit energy of working it all out. I'm going to do one more. Family, friends, and children. So, as I said before, you know, it could be a group of friends that you are going out with all the time. It could be, and you may not even be drinking with them. It could be just that you are spending a lot of time and energy out when really, you know, you should be at home. Family, friends, and children. So it could be family that you're doing a lot of drinking with, celebrating with. It could be friends, and you know, that children goes back to that, you know, maybe starting your own family makes you reassess where you want to put your time and effort in. Maybe this particular, you know, spending alcohol's not cheap, neither are cigarettes. This, what effect financially this is having on your life. Or possibly, you know, that desire to start a family and needing to make a decision about what aligns with you. Yeah, and on the bottom, that's gorgeous. We've got reinvention. Are you going to stay the same? Are you going to remain trapped? Or are you going to reinvent yourself? So, during this transit, what angels are working with you? What angels are working with you during this transit? So we've got two. Hanael, joy and divine communication. So you've got angels speaking to you, whispering in your ear, giving you signs, helping you along the way, helping you while you're in this hermit mode to realign yourself and remove yourself from toxicity. And number 12, adversity, lucid dreaming, and discerning secrets, giving you information. Giving you information. We're going to do one more because it is a big transit. Who is helping my pile 1? And number 24, general protection. So as I said, you've got angels around you that are walking beside you. And on the bottom, friendships. Angels that are helping you discern. We did have that discern word somewhere. Yeah, discerning secrets. Angels that are helping you discern the toxic people, the toxic patterns within your life, and aligning you with people who are for your greater good, your soul family. So finally, we are going to get some letters and Letters and numbers. I did that again in a reading yesterday. Letters and numbers. I've got Scrabble tiles in here with all different letters on them, and they've also got numbers on them. So this may give you some clarification. It may be your first, middle, or last initial. It could be the initials of somebody within your life that is feeding into these toxic patterns that you may have to remove yourself from. It may be, could be anything really. It could be the initials of you know, your favorite drink. Let's just have a little look and see what we get. Now I'm going to pop it up nice and high so I can't see. And I'm going to take those. So we have an I, if, and an F, and a V, and an X, and an E, and an O, S, C, L, J. So IFV8. Why did I say V8? Oh, because it's got an 8 on there. V8. V8's maybe that's what you need to have. Instead of a glass of wine or a beer, you need to have a V8 juice, which is a vegetable juice. So IFVXEOSCL and a J. Now the numbers are 1, 4, 4, 8, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 8. Now, if there's not messages in there, that's okay. It's just some extra clarification. So thank you so much, Pile 1, for joining me. I hope that this reading has provided you some clarity as to this Pluto in Aquarius transit. If you are interested, just go Googling. It's really, really fascinating, these big changes that are happening during this transit and the changes that have happened in the past. Really, 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 just so I find the history in astrology very, very interesting. So if you are leaving me now, you're most welcome to subscribe. That's the easiest way you can support my channel. Otherwise, I will see you in another reading. If you are heading along to Pile 2, I will see you there. Okay, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. We are looking at what are the major themes that will happen in your life over the next 20 years during this Pluto in Aquarius transit. Now, you chose the happiness stone. So it's a beautiful polished stone with happiness in it. Yeah, it's actually really lovely to touch. Okay, so as I said before, Pluto in Aquarius is a transit that comes through every 248, 250 years. And in previous cycles, we've seen big revolution, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. Prior to that, the cycle before that was changes. So Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, changes to the whole structure of the British religious, changes in their religion. So, to Church of England. We've seen changes, the introduction of paper, lots and lots and lots of changes. So it is a big transit. And yes, okay, we can look at things on a global scale as to what has happened globally, those big changes, but it actually infiltrates down into everybody's personal life, and everybody's personal life will see some sort of big changes in drastic changes. Pluto is death and rebirth, so drastic changes in who you are as a person, in how you are currently living to how you will be living by the end of that transit. So we are just going to pull some cards. We're going to see what comes through. And I'm using my Lovebirds Tarot deck. I'm using my Divine Portal Big and Little Tarot decks. And then I'm going to get some messages from Spirit as to guidance for you during this time, some angel messages, who's watching over you during this time and guiding you, and then some love messages. And I've also got some Scrabble tile letters just for further clarification. So we're going to see where we go. Happiness being what's written on the stone is that, for me, happiness will be your goal, your outcome, and potentially even if happiness is not what's at the beginning, because we know Pluto revolution, big changes during that process, it can be a little bumpy, it can be a little rocky, but the end result is happiness. So please, Spirit, can you give me insight into what major themes will be playing out in pile two's life during this Pluto in Aquarius transit? Three of Wands. Page of Pentacles. That's too many. Two more, please. The Sun. And Justice. And the Moon on the bottom. So the Sun and the Moon, which as opposites, literally, this is major transformation. Okay, pile two. What I'm getting from this is that the Page of Pentacles is the card of the student. And in this image, you can see she's got her father behind her. There's potentially something in your life that you have been guided to do, you know, by, for example, by a parent. Oh, you would make a great this, or you would make a great that. Maybe you took on a career based on what other people wanted for you. In this card, this is a little girl with books in her hands and her father behind her, hands on shoulders. You took on a career the big change that's coming to you is that you took on something in your previous, you know, in your early years. Maybe you're currently in this career, or maybe you're headed into, you know, a university degree based on what everybody else thinks is best for you. But what's actually hidden is that nobody really knows, or you've not expressed, that it's not what you want. Three of Wands. You want something different. And the revolution, the Pluto and Aquarius transiting you for the next 20 years is getting to the point where you actually remove yourself from what everybody else wants for you and align yourself. Align yourself in your career with your true calling. Your true calling, the Sun. At the moment, nobody knows, the Moon. And under the Moon, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Aligning yourself with the Moon, with what you really want, brings your Wheel of Fortune. and brings you justice. We've got the Justice card. Enlightenment, justice, and the Sun, which is gorgeous. Which is gorgeous. But revolution, you know, death and rebirth. If you've got people, that expectation from everybody else that this is who you are and this is who you should be, you know, that reminds me of, you know, the black sheep in the family, the person that does everything, the person that ends up doing the most unexpected thing, and they are the generational curse breakers. You know, your father was a lawyer, you have to be a lawyer. Your grandfather was a policeman, you have to be a policeman. You know, your brother was a doctor, you need to be a doctor. It's that kind of, you know, yeah, that kind of breaking out. You are, in this Pluto and Aquarius cycle, you are breaking out and you are being who you want to be. And coming out, showing people what's currently hidden, actually voicing. So maybe this Pluto and Aquarius, the lessons that you're learning is that revolution comes from using your voice, learning the lessons that you need to learn in order to use your voice and set yourself free from the expectation of other people. Okay, Three of Wands. Let's get some clarification. Yeah, and do something. Ace of Cups. Three of Wands leads you to your Ace of Cups. What you want to do, not what other people want you to do. Your happiness. We go back to that happiness. Oh, this is making me excited for you, Pile 2. What is your happiness? And maybe you're at the point where you know what your happiness is, but you don't have the courage to say it yet. Potentially you're already in this phase and you're getting kickback from other people. Maybe it's something that happens, you know, in 10 years' time. But you're searching for your happiness, your Ace of Cups. One more, please, Spirit, on this Three of Wands. Yeah. To get there, though, that's fighting. That's a card of fighting. Fighting off. Fighting in your mind, fighting with other people. I'm gonna leave, you know, I'm gonna leave. You've been in a career for 10 years, for 15 years. I'm leaving this career and I'm doing what sets my soul on fire. Well, that's a ridiculous decision. Why would you do that? How are you gonna pay your bills? Don't expect me to help you out. That kind of thing. And all of those little things that fly at you, all of these, you know, wands that fly at you, all of that information, sorry, not all of that information, all of those words that fly at you, for me personally, are fed by the divine through these people that are around you in order to challenge you, in order to get you to a state where instead of surrendering to what these people are telling you to do, you start to stand up and fight. And you get justice in the end. But everybody in your life is put there to challenge you, to challenge your thoughts, to challenge, you know, what you're doing. To make you grow. To make you grow, to make you come out of this moon energy into the sun. Well, actually, I don't care what anybody else says. This is what is for me. This is my life and I'm going to live it. Let's have a look at this Page of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. putting the work in on somebody else's dream, knowing that it's not your dream. Yeah, and wanting to walk away from it. There are lots of people in careers that are soul zapping, that they hate, but they do it because it's good money, or it's, you know, what their parents wanted them to do, what the expectation is, you know, but they don't enjoy it. And they stay there because of that expectation, because they've got bills to pay, when all they want to do is move along, move to something that is more aligned with who they are. You know, people that are in careers literally for their entire life. Because, I mean, I know people who changed careers once their parents passed away, because then their parents didn't influence their decision anymore. Yet they lived their whole life in a job that they hated because of the expectation. And that expectation, oftentimes, that expectation from parents comes from learning the expectation from your parents' parents, you know. So your parents do what their parents expected, and it just kind of flows down all the way, you know. And you just get stuck generation after generation doing the same thing, because nobody has the strength to actually stand up and say, this is not really what I want. The sun, enlightening. This is not, you know, happiness. This is not what's making me happy anymore. Let's have a look at this sun. Two of Cups. That's the contract with yourself. What soul contract do you have with yourself? What did you come into this life to do? You know, when before you incarnate, you know, what did you set out to do? And of course, you don't get it on day one. There's a whole heap of obstacles that are put in place before you get to this point. And these are the obstacles. You know, the mortgages, the bills, the people, everybody putting this in place. And the beauty in it is that when you actually finally get to the Two of Cups, meaning finally get to the job, the career that you want, that you've always desired, that nobody knew about, or maybe they did, but they you know, poo-pooed it away. It's Two of Cups. It's that love for yourself. I'm doing what I want. Ace of Cups. The blessing in that is that you are there because of all the anguish, and it's bittersweet. The bitterness is this bit, but the sweetness is you're finally there, and it's exactly what you wanted. And you've got to go through that journey. And as I said, you know, that's what's coming through in this next 20 years of your life is a major change in career. Whether it be that you are disgruntled with what you're currently doing, or you're in that career because of the expectations of other people. Get another one on this sun. Yeah, new beginning, the Fool. A new beginning. And how happy is the Fool? I mean, literally, he's about to, I mean, not on that card, but in the traditional right away, he's about to jump off a cliff. He's excited as, like, dude, it's probably not a good idea. But he's happy. He couldn't care. He's got literally not a care in the world. Because sometimes it's that, you know, when you're starting something new, when you're starting a new career, people always worry about, the burden of how am I going to pay for things, or, but a lot of this burden, actually revolves around external things. When you're actually following your soul's true path, there isn't a burden there. It's pure bliss. It really, really is. I'm looking at Justice and these two birds flying in the sky. I mean, sometimes I look up at birds and I think, God, it would be so nice just to fly around with the wind. I mean, that is the Fool. That is pure bliss. But you get this justice when you come forward and shed light on what is actually your true career, soul calling. I'm just thinking, for somebody, for example, for somebody who maybe is in the workplace at the moment and has got, kids in childcare, in daycare, in before school and after care. Because that's the expectation, maybe the expectation from, their family or their partner or their partner's family is that, oh, well, you must work. It's coming forward and saying, well, actually, it's not what I want. What I want is to be home with my kids. And even if it's in the short term, but it's a major change. And sometimes changes like this can bring the Tower card, can bring the Tower down, where things that, foundations that were built on careers, foundations that were built in marriages, it literally brings the Tower down. But it brings it down so that it can be rebuilt on a structure that is more aligned with who you really are and what you want. And it gives you justice. Okay, so let's have a look at this Justice card. What came through there? King of Pentacles, stable. Justice, stable. King of Pentacles, yeah. A stable new beginning. You're wanting to flip. Yeah, doing something that you are actually passionate about. Planting seeds, growing little flowers. Things that you are actually passionate about, as opposed to what somebody else wants for you. Bringing back something from your past that you aligned with, that you love doing. For example, if you've got the marks, you go through school and you get the marks, the highest marks, and somebody says, oh, well, if you're that smart, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer, but you actually want to be a florist. And people go, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that? Well, you would do that because that's what you want to do. But it's somebody else's desire that you become a doctor or a lawyer, because for them their focus is on, well, that is either a prestige thing, or that gives you a lot of income, or why would you become a florist if it doesn't pay as well, but that's somebody else's, and you have to enlighten them. Yeah, enlighten them as to what actually sets your soul on fire. And it's a tough thing to go against, what everybody says, because especially if it's people within your family, if you've all grown up together and you've got, aunts and uncles and grandparents and stuff, most families morally, the way they think, predominantly the way they think, they're sort of grounding opinions on things are much the same. They are much the same because they will be, because they've grown up in the same family. So for you to go against, you're literally potentially going against your core family and your core family values. And that's tough. You know, that's where we got the Five of Wands here. So let's look at this Three of Wands, this new beginning for you. Seven of Cups. It's confusion. These people are, I mean, they're put in your life to confuse you, they're almost a distraction from what you need to be aligning yourself with. It's a test. They're a test for you to see if you can bust through. Let's look at this Page of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles, this is something that's happened, Knight of Wands. Something that's happened from very, very early. Patterns, little nuggets of comments from people. Almost pre-preparing for what they think should be your life. Yeah, Knight of Wands. I'm just going to get another one on that Knight of Wands. The Lovers. Telling you what you should, it's funny because when you've got family, you do see them. I mean, you see, maybe you see core family all the time, but, you see family sort of little sporadically through the year, birthday parties, Christmas, that sort of thing. So they're kind of in and out of your life, which is the Page of Wands. But when they come in, it's almost this, oh, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? Asking you, they get like a little snapshot of your life. And because they're family, they think that they can give their opinion, or that you want their opinion, and a lot of the time you don't. But yeah, it's those little bits and pieces, and that they're little comments that come through, and that's literally what sits in your head when you're making a decision to change your career. It's those. It might not be somebody specifically in your head at the time that you're fighting with, but it's all those little bits and pieces of information that you've heard your whole life from the people around you, and that's what's sitting in your head. Let's have a look at this Sun. Yeah, strength. Having the strength to switch off those little voices that are in your head and actually move towards what makes you happy. And one more, the Justice card. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Judgment. Judgment, their judgment of you. Judgment is resurrection energy. So, Pluto and Aquarius, death, rebirth. Resurrecting from what doesn't serve you in your career. Bringing it out with the moon there, bringing it out and allowing yourself to fly free with those two birds there, doing what you want to do. Five of Cups. Because if you don't, I think we had the Wheel of Fortune underneath there. If you don't make the decision to do what aligns with you, you will be stuck. That wheel spins forwards and backwards. You'll be stuck. You'll be like that person that I said before, worked their whole life in the profession that their parents wanted them to because they were too afraid to say, to verbalize that it wasn't their their heart's desire. You know, and the Five of Cups is, and look, we've got the Justice card underneath. The Five of Cups is, well, and the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. The Five of Cups is the cup half full or the cup half empty. You know, it's moving. It's making the decision to move on, to go back to something that you love. Nine of Pentacles, freedom underneath, being free as a bird, to do what you want to do. I mean, you have to live your life. You can't live somebody else's expectation of you and call it a life. Okay, now, actually we won't do those yet. We're going to do some, these are love messages, but channeled love messages. However, for this style of reading where it's not a, you know, a romance reading, I use these cards as what does your higher self want to tell you in this situation. So please, Spirit, what does Pile 2's higher self want to tell them in this situation? You helped me heal. And temptation. The temptation is to stay. Maybe you don't like the arguing and the fighting. The temptation is to stay in that cup is half empty mentality and not bring out, you know, what your true desire is. But you won't heal. And this little girl, this tiny little girl, that's who you're helping heal. That little desire that you had as a child to be this or to be that, you know. And by keeping her trapped in this career that she doesn't enjoy, it might pay the bills, but she doesn't enjoy. Yeah, it doesn't heal her. And you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be a major change, as in, you know, right, one day I'm going to be earning X, Y, Z, and tomorrow I'm going to be doing something that is, you know, earning a fifth of the wage. It can be remaining in this career, but doing what you love on the side as a hobby until, you know, you eventually, you're pulling back on your primary career and pushing forward. So it can be this kind of, this transition. And maybe it's this transition that takes you that 20-year period of that Pluto and Aquarius. And by the end of it, you know, somebody looks at you and goes, oh, you know, I saw you 20 years ago, you were a pharmacist, and now you're a farmer, you know. It could be something like that. A slow transition. Yeah. Okay, what else? Head versus heart. And it was upside down. Head versus heart. You've got to follow your heart. You really, really do. And pick up on those little nudges that you're getting, because you will be getting them. You will be getting them. It'll be, you know, an ad on TV or a snippet from a song or something that you see that, you know, piques your interest. Have a look at, you know, if you're on Instagram or you're on Pinterest or whatever. I mean, career-wise, have a look at the people that you follow, or the things that you've pinned on Pinterest, or, you know, the people that you watch on YouTube, the songs that you listen to. They will all have little links to what actually truly makes you happy, to the career that you're meant to be doing. And it's all there, hidden in plain sight for you. And it's little nudges from your higher self, from your angels, from your guides, all, you know, I'm looking at these birds, all kind of steering you in this direction. steering you to this new beginning. You just got to listen. I love you. Yeah, putting yourself first. Doing what you want to do rather than the expectation of other people. Let's do this one. You are a blessing. And what you want to do will be a blessing to your life. It will be a beautiful blessing to your life. And justice, we have the justice card. Putting boundaries up to the people who think that they are the determining factor as to how you live your life. Releasing them, releasing their expectations on you. And karmic connection, these people are karmic in your life. They are there as speed bumps to try and stop you, but also speed bumps as to give you strength to push yourself forward. Take a chance on me. To me, that's your new life beckoning you. Your new life. You know, the thing that you wanted from the past. That inkling. Take a chance. Okay, now we're going to look at what spirit advice. What advice spirit has got, and that popped out straight away. Be confident. Be confident about who you are, about what you want to do. Put your boundaries up with people because it's your life and this is what will bring you happiness. What advice do you have for pile 2? True North. Follow your soul's true calling. Don't listen to other people. I love you. Love yourself. The only way out is through. Telepathy. You're being guided. You are being guided. And you are getting messages about where you're meant to be. The only way out is through. Change doesn't come easily. But it's just one foot in front of the other. And that's gorgeous. Walking away from the things that don't serve you anymore. And you know they don't, because you wouldn't be 5 of Wands in your head if it was something that was making you happy. Okay, what angel is protecting and guiding my pile 2? Divine Warrior and Protection, number 71. What angel is guiding my pile 2? Number 5. Harmony and Occult Wisdom. So you are getting messages. You are getting messages, little intuitive hits that are telling you what is aligning with your happiness. One more. Number 27, Peace and Justice. So that's the Justice card now. That's 3 times we've seen the Justice card. And Peace. It may be turbulent at the time that this happens, or if this is happening now. It may be, 5 of Wands, rocky, but in the end, there will be peace and justice. And on the bottom, we have, we've got mirroring here too. 72 and 27. Success. And I heard in my mind, you've done this before. You've done this before. So maybe you've in a minor situation, you've actually stood up for yourself and made a stand currently in this lifetime, or maybe in a past life, this was a journey that you took as well. To push through things that didn't serve you to find what is your true happiness. Now finally, pile 2, what I am going to do is I've got a little container here full of letters little Scrabble tiles. They've also got numbers on them, so they may be relevant as well. But I'm just going to give it a shake and grab a couple. This may be first, last, and middle initials of yourself. Potentially it might be of, you know, somebody within your family or your friends, you know, I'm thinking family, that you may be dealing with that is affecting you within this relationship. It may relate to a career that you're currently in or a career that you're moving on to. There may be a message in there. If there's not, it's okay. It's just some extra. So we'll give it a shake. Now I'm going to pop these up nice and high so I can't see, and I'm just going to grab. So we've got the letter R, the letter Z, the letter I, the letter U, the letter S, the letter W, and the letter L. Now we've got 1, 10, 1, 1, 1, 4, and 1. So that's where I'm going to leave you, pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. That's the easiest way to support me. I will wish you a beautiful day, and hopefully reading resonated with you and provided you some clarification, some insight into potentially what's coming your way during this Pluto in Aquarius transit. If you have an opportunity, go and check out, do some searches on YouTube about this transit. It is really, really fascinating. You know, the things that have happened in the past and how literally they are replaying in different ways in our future. So I will see you next time. Thank you again for joining me. Okay, pile 3, welcome to your reading. If you chose, I'm just going to unwind him. If you chose this beautiful wooden cross, then this is your reading. Now today we are looking at the Pluto in Aquarius transit, which, as I mentioned previously in the intro, is something that happens every 248, 250 years. It's something that happens for a 20-year period. And in history, it has been a time of major revolution and major change. So if we're looking at history, world history, we're looking at the French Revolution, the American Revolution. If we go back, so that was 250 years ago. If we go back 250 years prior, we are looking at the change, say, for example, in England, where they changed, the church changed because of Henry VIII divorcing his wife and remarrying. So the whole structure of the church changed there. Just huge changes that will have an effect, that those effects will actually ripple down into everybody's personal circumstances. So we're looking at the big change that will occur in your life in the next 20 years. Now, it may be something that started already for you, or it could be something that may not crop up for another 10 years, but it's something that will be big. It will be something that, if somebody was to look at who you are today as opposed to who you are in 20 years' time, you will be drastically different. Pluto is the death card, death and rebirth. It is something that is completely different. So the fact that we've got the cross here, now for me personally, I'm 48. I got this cross when I was 17. And at the time in my life, I was very religious, and I have had a period, even though I'm a faith-based person, it's only been in the last few years that I've really gone back to my roots, my faith-based roots. So the fact that we have a religious symbol here potentially means that there may be something religious-wise that is changing within this transit for you. Now, if we look at, around the world, I was reading, a couple of months ago, in places, for example, like Japan, the fastest growing religion in Japan is currently Islam. So there are huge fundamental changes, I believe, that are happening in this transit that will be to do with religion, and people moving out of their religion that they grew up with, moving into a new religion. Other people who potentially weren't religious, in their early life, but then turned to a specific religion. And on the flip side, people that were really religious and maybe turning away altogether. So yeah, interesting with this little cross here. It will be interesting to see what comes out in the cards. So I am just going to pull some cards. Pile 3. What does pile 3 have coming towards them during this Pluto in Aquarius cycle? Oh, goodness me. These cards are jumpy today. Okay, we're going to take him. 7 of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. These cards. Nine of Pentacles. And on the bottom of the deck, the Emperor. So pile 3, what I'm seeing for you is, Seven of Wands is a card of defending yourself. These two in this card are choosing to move away from what is expected of them. And there's all these people in the picture that have got opinions on what is expected of them, and differing opinions. I mean, these people are kind of to the side, not almost watching, but not giving their 2 cents worth, but they're still there as a presence. You've got this guy here. He's really angry. You've got this guy in this guy's ear, giving his 2 cents worth, and then these guys are quite aggressively coming towards them. Yeah, and the Ace of Pentacles card, Pentacles are solid. The Ace of Pentacles is, if we go back to this religion, this is something that you've been in for a very, very long time. And it could be something like a marriage, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Hierophant card. I mean, a marriage, Nine of Swords, maybe it's a marriage you've been happy in for a long time and you're looking for freedom. If we go back to religion, maybe it's a faith that you've been in for a long time that doesn't align with you anymore, and you're looking for freedom, you're looking for something new. With the Emperor on the bottom, this is somebody that you've got to go up against in order to release yourself from this, to get this freedom. Interesting. Okay, let's have a look at the Seven of Wands. I'm using my Divine Portal Tarot deck. Now, as I said before, you know, this is a 20-year transit. So you might be at the beginning of this, you might already be within it, but it's quite a long transit. And I mean, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. This is, yeah, this is something that is something solid, something core within your life. So it's a big thing. It's marriage, it's religion, it's job, it's something that you've been at for a long time. It's part of the foundation of, if somebody said, who is this person? You know, the Ace of Pentacles, it's that core, who are they? If somebody had to describe who you were as a person, it's, yeah, and you're going up against it. Let's have a look at the Seven of Wands. The Hangman. You've either come to the realization, or you will come to the realization, that this core thing in your life is no longer serving you, is no longer making you happy. So as I said before in the previous readings, you know, this Nine of Pentacles is the card of freedom, freeing yourself. 2 nines, that's the end of a cycle. So in life, we have people that step up and free themselves, and then other people see that and follow. So maybe you are the person that steps up and changes, you know, leaves a marriage, changes a religion first. You're the first to do it because you've had an epiphany. Or maybe you are the person who watches somebody else free themselves, and it inspires you. You have the epiphany, it inspires you to do the same thing, to set yourself free as well. So let's look at this Seven of Wands. Justice. And in doing it, there's justice. There's justice for you, for your soul, for your journey. Justice, defending your right to make the decision that you're making without the influence of other people. Okay, let's have a look at this Ace of Pentacles. Four of Swords. I think you've sat for a long time in this Nine of Swords energy, and we've got the Four of Swords underneath the Emperor here as well. You've sat for a long time in this energy, trying to make a decision. Four of Swords. Fear. 4-4. Fear. There may be, have a look at the angel number 44 or 444. There may be a message in there for you. So Wheel of Fortune. Currently this wheel is stuck. You're not able to move forward, or you won't be able to move forward and get your justice while you're in this mindset. But justice comes. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of freedom. Justice comes when you actually make a decision. Yeah, let's look at this Nine of Swords. Wow. we've got Nine of Swords, Ten of Wands. I mean, heavy burdens. Heavy burdens. And you know, if you've got a whole family that is one religion and you're wanting to change religions completely, like, you're up against it. You are up against it, because for a lot of people, well, for most people within you know, your religion is your morals, your values, your ethics. It's who you are as a person. The religion that you align with is your faith. It's what you believe in. You know, your morals, your values. And if you decide to not go against, I don't necessarily think when you change religions you're going against what you already know. You're just realigning yourself with something that is more in line with who you are. Six of Swords, more in line with who you are, walking away from what you already know. Eight of Cups. But to do that, you know, there is heartbreak within families, within, you know, because for a lot of people, their identity is actually their faith. And they see your walking away as a rejection of their identity, when really it's got nothing to do with them. When really it's got nothing to do with them, and everything to do with aligning yourself with what is true to you. And it doesn't mean you don't love them as a person or you don't respect their religious values. And the thing is, you know, if they want you to respect their opinion, then they also need to do that in return, and they need to respect yours as well. And that's justice, that balance. Yeah. Nine of Pentacles, let's have a look. Yeah, the Tower. This change for you is going to bring down the foundations. If it's religious foundations for the people around you. You know, and Seven of Swords, Nine of Swords, that fear of what are people going to say, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people say. You have to do what's right for you. And it's a bit like, you know, in this card, we see the lightning and the flames, and, you know, in the heat of an argument, in that moment where the tower falls, you know, it's destruction. It's loud, it's noisy, but what you're able to build then on the foundation, you're actually able to build a new foundation, something that aligns with you, and then you become the emperor in your own life. People don't like change. People don't like change. Anything else on this tower? King of Wands. Sometimes this King of Wands energy is pretense. You know, the King of Wands is all the gear but no idea. You know, the guy that turns up, you know, the old guy that turns up to church and acts as if he is the most, you know, righteous, pious person, when really he's a horrible human being. You know, is completely not in line with his faith. Yet he'll be the one who come and tell you what you should and shouldn't do in your faith. Yet you might be somebody who's changed religion and is praying every day. Yet this guy's not set foot, you know, or sets foot in church every Sunday, but has got no connection with God or his faith at all. You know, this is this guy here, you know. And what you're actually going up against when you tell these types of people that you are, changing faith, or, as I said before, it could be marriage, changing marriage. You're going up against their ego, their thought that they have a right to comment on, marriage, faith, any of those things. They're highly personal things. None of anybody else's business. And their foundations, who they think that they are, and what they know, what they think they know about you, is actually brought down. And when somebody's in their ego and you bring their tower down, yeah, they're the ones who make the most noise, the thunder, the lightning. Two of Swords on the bottom. Then they're in their head. But as I said before, you may be one of these people who are the first in your family, to change religions, to get a divorce when everybody else has been married. You might be the first. And in doing that, you enlighten with the Hangman these King of Wands energies that have been stuck in their ways, and of the belief that it's their way or the highway. The Emperor, the godfather in the family. And generally speaking too, they're the ones that are quite gobby, but you just switch off. Don't listen to, once you've made that decision to, just switch off. Okay, we're going to just see if there's anything else that Spirit wants to tell us from the little Divine Tarot deck. Anything else on this Seven of Wands? Five of Pentacles. Yeah, this decision may make you feel like you're left out. But how can you be left out if the decision that you've made, and as I said, Pluto and Aquarius, this is a big decision. This is a big decision for you. Some, life-changing decision that you're making in the next 20 years. You may feel like once you've made it, you will feel like you're left out in the cold, when the reality is you've actually aligned with yourself. And in the traditional tarot, the Five of Pentacles is people outside a church. So if it is a change in religion, yeah, interesting that we got that card. Okay, Ace of Pentacles. Anything else on this Ace of Pentacles? Yeah, the Moon. You're really not going to know what people are going to say or do. You might have an inkling. Well, they certainly don't see this coming from you. Yeah, with the Two of Swords. They don't see it coming from you, but that doesn't... You need to do what is in your best interests. And, it's powerful change. It's powerful. Tearing something down. That Ace of Pentacles, tearing something down that's been a constant for you in your life. Tearing it down. It is going to come with some anguish. But you don't get to the point where you need to tear something down unless there's something wrong. Okay, Nine of Swords. Anything else on this Nine of Swords? We've got a couple there. Empress. Cutting yourself free from what doesn't serve you. So we've got Eights to Nines. Eight of Swords to Nine of Swords. And nurturing yourself. Nurturing a new beginning. And, we've got Empress and Emperor here. So it's balancing what currently or what previously hadn't been balanced, or what won't be balanced in your life. And getting yourself to the point where you are in a more balanced in a more balanced energy. Now, you know, the Nine of Pentacles is minor arcana Empress. So now we've got, you know, this is growth. This is growth for you, a new beginning, new growth. And sometimes these people need to be released from your life in order for you to get into that period of growth. Because while you're stuck in this, you can't grow, you can't get to the Empress energy. You're literally stuck. So you have to make that change in order to get there. Nine of Pentacles, that's too many, but we will take them. Seven of Pentacles, planting new seeds. Planting new seeds in an area of your life that aligns with you. Four of Pentacles, not being afraid to do it. And Eight of Wands, stepping out and taking the leap. A leap of faith. I don't, you know, again, we were talking about faith before. A leap of faith. And Six of Swords, and we had that here somewhere before, down here. Moving on to calmer waters, moving along to an area, and specifically maybe faith, could be, you know, relationship, moving along to an area in your life that is better for you, that is more aligned with who you are. Now, we are looking at, this is a love messages deck, but in this specific reading, because we're not looking at, it's not a relationship reading, it is, I'm going to use them as what messages your higher self has for you as you're going through this change, this period of revolution in your life during the Pluto and Aquarius transit. You are the love of my life. That is putting yourself first. Being your own true first love. Not listening to other people around you just because, you know, the family has been one religion for your whole life, or everybody stays married and don't divorce. Take the first step. Take the first step in putting yourself first. Yeah, I don't want to listen to other people anymore. Getting out of this Nine of Swords energy. I owe you an apology. This is these people. You won't get it from them. Those types of people don't apologize. You won't get it from them. But you don't need to apologize to yourself for being who you want to be. Change. For making the change and being who you want to be. Anything else? Just do two more. I want to talk to you, but fear takes over. There's worries in this, and I'm feeling vulnerable. But don't feel vulnerable. Just take the step. Take the step and align with yourself. You know, make that decision if you want to change religions. Make that decision if you want to leave a partner. I find myself daydreaming about you. I think, you know, as I said, this Eight of, we need more balance. This Ace of Pentacles, this is something that you have been thinking about for a very, very, very long time, or you will be thinking about for a long time. Dreaming about what your life would be like if you made this change. And again, we've got this change here. And Spirit is saying, or your higher self is actually saying, sorry, take the first step. Take the first step. You need more balance in your life. Please have faith. Have faith in what you believe in. Have faith in the faith that you've chosen. And if you do so, you'll get more balance. And it won't be a dream anymore. Okay, so let's have a look at the guidance that Spirit has for you when you embark on this part of your journey. Obstacles are lessons in disguise. So everything that you're going through, or everything that you will go through during this period, is meant to help you grow. Help you grow, expansion. Anything else? Oh, goodness. You are already doing it. So you're already taking the steps, or you will begin to remove yourself from the toxic things that are in your life, the things that don't align with you. An impenetrable energy. With each step that you take to move yourself, you know, where did we have the Six of Swords, to move yourself from calmer waters, you will gain strength. And the stronger you get, there we are, there's the Six of Swords there. The stronger you get, the easier it will be to take the next step. And then all of a sudden, you will be where you want to be and away from what doesn't serve you. Okay, and Spirit is saying divine timing. It was all part of the plan. So it's going to take as long as it's meant to take. You can't control any of it. The crappy bits are going to be the crappy bits, and the good bits are going to be the good bits. But eventually, you will have justice, and you will end up in this Nine of Pentacles, Empress energy, where you've got a new beginning in a situation. You know, as I said, it could be faith-based. You know, it could be removing yourself from a marriage. Eventually, you will end up where you are meant to be. So we're going to look at what angel will be guiding you at this time. Yeah. Number 70, spiritual journey. It's a spiritual journey. And I keep coming back to, you know, this crisis of faith. And maybe it's not a crisis. Well, it's, you know, a crisis of faith only becomes a crisis when you have to, you know, tell people around you that you're making a change. But it's a spiritual journey. It's something that you are meant to do in this lifetime, to expand. Uriel, L, God is my light, transformation. That's gorgeous. It's something that you were meant to do. Okay, any more? Divine rewards, number 38. Yeah, there is reward at the end of this journey, and it may be a long, I mean, you know, a spiritual journey is a lifelong journey, and you know, Pluto and Aquarius, you're at the start of it. You are at the start of it, at the beginning. Gorgeous. Number 64, animals. You might have some spirit guides as animals on days when you're not, you know, nine of swords energy. Maybe you've got a pet who, you know, sits quietly beside you and looks into your eyes while you're crying. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Okay, finally, pile 3. What I've got is a little container full of Scrabble letters. Now, they've got letters and numbers on them, and I'm just going to give this little container a shake. We're going to grab some letters out. I'm going to pop it up nice and high so I can't see. Now, the letters, the initials within here could be your first, middle, last name. Could be, you know, potentially somebody that you're dealing with through this revolution that you're making, you know, maybe a King of Wands energy. There could be other meanings within there that only you will know. If you don't get anything, it's not okay. Sorry, if you don't get any messages from here, it's okay. They're just extra things that may give you further clarification. So I'm going to give it a shake. And take the lid off. It's up nice and high so I can't see. I'm going to grab those ones. Okay, so we have an R, a Y, an E, a C, S, L, and an A. So R, Y, E, C, S, L, and A, and the numbers on them are 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, pile 3, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. That's the easiest way you can support me. I wish you a lovely day. If you are interested in this transit of Pluto in Aquarius, feel free to jump online and do some research. There's some great videos on YouTube that can give you some further information as to what we are all going through as a collective over the next 20 years. So I hope this reading was helpful, and I will see you again in another reading.